There is a man taking a mirror selfie on a dim gym floor. Nick Arante has chugged a Celsius before every workout for 2 straight years, certain the sparkling can is burning fat off his frame. Then the feed cuts to a doctor's office. Wires trail across his bare chest into an electrocardiogram, a machine measuring a heart that no longer plays along. That clip erupted across TikTok in 2022, and millions watched a so-called fitness drink betray the people who trusted it most. Here is the part that should freeze you. Every detail of that video is real, and the company behind that label is worth billions today. But the war did not start where you think. It began inside a boardroom 2 decades ago, with a promise that stretched biology too thin. Comment below, when you grab a can at the gas station, do you read the fine print, or just trust the badge? Humble origins usually bore. This one hides a confession. Before Celsius existed, its founder ran a software company called Pivot Point, spending 17 years teaching distributors how to predict what shoppers would crave next. Then he sold the firm, pocketed the money, and officially retired to Delray Beach, Florida. Retirement lasted about as long as it took him to wander into a beverage warehouse. Standing among the trucks and the pallets, watching cases roll past, Steve Haley spotted a rule that would demolish his quiet life. The company that owns the whole category wins. Not the best recipe, not the cheapest price. The shelf itself. He skipped the 100th energy drink, ignored the 8th vitamin water, and declared he would build something no rack in America had ever held. He did not want a drink. He wanted a category, and that single phrase explains every smart move and every near-fatal one of the next 20 years. His first company, then called Elite FX, was born in 2004, and its only product arrived a year later in fully wrapped glass. It promised to bend the body's own furnace. Thermogenesis, the internal heat that quietly burns calories even while you sit perfectly still, became his obsession. He packed the formula with green tea extract, guarana seed, ginger root, taurine, and a serious wallop of caffeine, yet none of it sweetened into guilt. He named the drink Celsius, after the temperature scale, because a can that carried heat deserved a name that measured it. Early cans came in 5 flavors: lemon lime, ginger ale, cola, orange, and wild berry. Every label told the same story. Here is a soft drink that can burn fat while you do absolutely nothing. Haley left no detail to accident, not even the story, because the story was the product, and the product was a question that millions of tired, heavy, hopeful people were desperate to answer. In his telling, the drink attacked 2 of the biggest problems on Earth, obesity and diabetes, with nothing but good taste and a warm can. To back that question, he pointed at science. In January 2007, the University of Oklahoma ran a trial that found resting metabolism climbing about 12% for 3 hours after a single serving, in both men and women. Months later, that number was paraded at an international sports nutrition conference, where an industry hungry for proof gave it a standing welcome. In my view, that research was never the problem. The problem was what the company did with it afterward. Other scientists eventually tried to weigh the same claim. Placebo-controlled studies in 2007 and 2008 measured the drink's effect and found a gentle nudge, a few extra calories traded, nothing close to the transformation the advertisements implied. 12% became the brand's birthmark anyway, repeated on labels, in press kits, on the lips of sales reps, until it stopped being a finding and started being a religion. And a religion, it turned out, would one day need lawyers and a very large insurance bill. Independent researchers were even less impressed. Placebo-controlled trials published in 2007 and 2008 put commercial thermogenic drinks under the same microscope, and what they measured was modest, a small lift in energy expenditure, nothing that would carve fat off a body by itself. The FDA never certified Celsius as a weight loss product, and the company never claimed that it had, but the line between supplement talk and drug talk kept blurring anyway. Under federal law, a product that promises to change the structure or function of the body can be classified as a drug, and drugs need approval before they touch store shelves. Celsius walked that line for years, daring someone to draw it for them. Eventually, someone did. He wrapped the creation in heavy glass, an expensive, premium package that looked nothing like a Red Bull can, because landing in the energy aisle would have killed the brand at birth. Glass whispered diet. It promised lifestyle. It looked like something a woman could hold in a hot yoga studio without apology, and Haley was disarmingly open about the target. Women, he believed, grasped the metabolism message faster than anyone, so vitamin shops, gyms, and health clubs became his staging grounds for war. By May 2007, Aluminum cans joined the lineup because golf courses and beaches banned glass, and every new venue meant one more hand reaching for the same dream. Internationally, the premium glass bottles opened doors in markets that treated cans as junk. The drink felt like a supplement, not soda, and that category confusion was exactly the point. Distribution stretched across 24 states and kept climbing. The only real rival was Coca-Cola's Enviga, a tea hiding the same thermogenic promise behind a different label. Haley waved it off with the calm of a man who had already seen the ending. But success has a cruel habit of arriving just before the fall. By 2012, Celsius was missing every goal its founders had drawn on the whiteboard. Bankers looked away. Distribution deals died in handshakes. Grocery chains that had cheered the concept quietly let the product rot on pallets. And the company that dreamed of owning a category could not keep its own name on the stock exchange. John Fieldly, the man who would one day run it, described the wreckage without polish. Near bankruptcy more than once. Half the revenue gone in a single day, a delisting from the NASDAQ. Imagine that. A drink still sold in stores today was wiped out of Wall Street's memory a decade ago, surviving on fumes and stubbornness. What pulled it back was not a new flavor, a brighter can, or a clever ad. It was a new pair of hands. Fieldly was a certified accountant who had never run a beverage company in his life. He arrived in 2012 as chief financial officer, right in the middle of what insiders politely called a leadership transition, and his first job was triage, cut the overhead, renegotiate the leases, convince suppliers the story was not finished yet. He rebuilt the money machine one spreadsheet at a time, no glamour, no spotlight, just math, and dragged the company back onto the exchange. Then, in April 2018, he climbed into the chief executive's chair. Most turnaround men cash out at exactly that moment. Fieldly did the opposite. He doubled down on the strangest asset the firm owned, the word Celsius itself, and the idea that a drink could be both a workout and a lifestyle, a reward instead of a punishment. The brand, he liked to say, had been born in gyms and health clubs, and the way back was to return to those rooms and never leave them again. If stories like this change how you see the cans in your hand, take 3 seconds and subscribe. The next bottle we open may surprise you even more. Now the strategy turned sharp, and this is the pivot that made the fortune. Fieldly stopped selling weight loss and started selling performance. Every advertisement, every sponsorship, every athlete's jersey whispered the same news sentence. This is what fit people drink. The company flooded gym culture, chased fitness influencers, embedded itself inside the 6 a.m. workout communities that post everything, and worked so well that Celsius stopped needing to convince anyone at all. Gym owners stocked it at the front counter. Trainers recommended it to clients who needed a nudge. A can in the frame of a workout video became a silent endorsement, repeated 1,000 times a day, and the community did the convincing for free, one sweaty selfie at a time, one gym locker, one before and after. Celsius also poured money directly into the people who post. The company ran relentless influencer campaigns, handing free product and sponsorships to fitness creators in exchange for placement in their content. So aggressive, in fact, that a lawsuit would later accuse Celsius and 3 named influencers of running a stealth marketing campaign that violated Federal Trade Commission rules on disclosing paid promotion. The allegation never derailed the machine. It only proved how central the influencer economy had become to the company's growth. Celsius was not selling through advertising anymore. It was renting trust. None of that works in a vacuum. And here the story touches something bigger than one company. Celsius rose inside a global health panic, an obesity epidemic, a wellness industry worth hundreds of billions, and a fitness culture broadcast to every phone on earth. Dieting had failed people for decades, and here was a can that promised results without sacrifice. That timing was luck, maybe, but Fieldly turned it into an engine. The brand was not selling a drink anymore. It was selling the fantasy of a better self, and the fantasy came with a distribution plan. Think about what that fantasy actually does to a human brain. Every can arrives with a quiet promise. You can be lazy and still win. No gym membership required, no salad required, no discipline required, just a purchase. That is the most powerful sentence in modern marketing, because it removes the one thing every diet demands, effort, and replaces it with a transaction. Celsius did not invent that sentence, but it perfected the delivery, and the delivery is why the story that follows never once slowed down. Shipments climbed, and the numbers became absurd. In 2022, Celsius was the fastest-growing major energy brand in America, and Wall Street crowned new royalty. That August, PepsiCo wrote a check for $550 million, took an 8.5% slice of the company, and handed Celsius the keys to its distribution engine. Suddenly, the drink that had clawed its way through small gyms sat in every gas station, every big box store, every cooler between the coasts, riding the same trucks that move Mountain Dew. In the second quarter of 2024 alone, the company booked $402 million in revenue, up 23% from a year earlier, and its retail sales were growing more than 20%. 3 years after the first check, PepsiCo deepened the partnership, lifting ownership toward 11% and taking an extra board seat. For a company that had once been delisted, this was resurrection nobody could fake. The pressure of that success even drew blood in public. In 2024, the founder of Rockstar Energy stepped into the fight and publicly demanded Fieldley's departure. And with a giant's engine underneath it, Celsius could finally afford what every empire eventually must: its own scandals. The first crack appeared exactly where Haley had planted the original promise. Skeptics reopened the 12% figure and found a body of evidence that was thin, self-referential, and frequently funded by people with a direct stake in the answer. University names decorate the company's own website. 6 studies, the brand likes to say. Yet the trials were small and short, and independent researchers kept publishing results that were real but modest. None of this was illegal, mind you. It was marketing wearing a lab coat, and marketing wearing a lab coat is exactly what courts are built to punish. The question was never whether Celsius worked. The question was whether the claim had crossed the invisible line between a suggestion and a promise. That line, it turns out, is drawn in court. Lawsuits arrived in waves. In late 2022, a class action accused Celsius of labeling citric acid as a flavor when it actually acted as a preservative, a single word that changes everything on a wellness label, and the fight ended in a settlement worth $7.8 million. A year later, another suit went much further. The Live Fit line, it claimed, was misbranded and unlawfully sold. It promised to accelerate metabolism, burn body fat, reduce hunger, and promote weight loss. And a promise like that, in legal language, turns a drink into a drug. A drug without FDA approval is against the law. Celsius answered that the sentences on the can were puffery, harmless advertising talk, as the lawyers say. 2 armies of lawyers fought for years over one uncomfortable question: what exactly is fitness, and who gets to sell it? While they argued, the cans kept shipping because a lawsuit is just a cost of doing business, and the only thing worse than being sued is being forgotten. Then the internet found Celsius, and the internet does not read press releases. In 2022, a fitness creator posted the video that opened this story. Nick Arante strapped to an electrocardiogram after 2 years of drinking the brand before every workout, and the comments section erupted with heart palpitations, racing pulses, and anxiety nobody could explain. The brand's answer was chemically accurate and emotionally deaf. A single can packs roughly 200 milligrams of caffeine, more than double a standard Red Bull, and stimulants do stimulant things. Guarana makes the kick sharper, not softer. The clip passed 1 million views inside a day. Conspiracy theories piled on after it. One influencer claimed the drink contained cyanide. Another swore it caused false positives in sports drug tests. And both claims were later fact-checked into dust by journalists with chemistry sets. Yet for the first time, a drink marketed as health faced a brutal word on every screen: dangerous. Here is the twist that should terrify you. None of it hurt sales. Financial trouble had its own nightmare waiting in the dark. In March 2022, Celsius stunned Wall Street by revealing it could not file its annual report on time because, incredibly, its finance team had lost people. In January 2025, the Securities and Exchange Commission made the account official. The company would pay $3 million over failures tied to stock awards for departing employees, books that understated expenses from at least late 2019 into mid-2023. There was no admission of fraud and no handcuffs. But regulators do not spend years investigating a clean kitchen. For a company whose entire identity was clean, the stain was real, and the timing was cruel, arriving exactly as the TikTok panic peaked. Yet even this landed like rain on glass. Investors shrugged. Shelves stayed full. The machine never slowed. Then Celsius bought its loudest critic. In April 2025, the company completed a $1.8 billion acquisition of Alani Nu, the bubbly pink energy line beloved by younger drinkers, merging the 2 fastest rising names in the category under one roof. Alani Nu alone had generated nearly $600 million in revenue the year before, a brand barely old enough to vote, absorbed by a company that, 14 years earlier, could not keep its Nasdaq listing. Critics blinked. Regulators blinked harder. In June 2026, the Texas Attorney General opened an investigation into Celsius and its new brand, alarmed by 200 milligrams of caffeine in every 12-ounce can, packaging that charms teenagers, and the death of a 17-year-old from West Laco, whose family says an enlarged heart ended her life after she drank the product. The state invoked the National Institutes of Health, which advises against energy drinks for children and teens entirely, citing elevated heart rate, palpitations, high blood pressure, anxiety, and dehydration, and noted that Alani new packaging lists the caffeine amount, but no age warning and no heart health warning. The inquiry runs under Texas's Deceptive Trade Practices Act, the same law that polices false advertising on everything from cars to cereal. Let that land for a moment. The wellness drink of a generation now faces a state investigation over children, and the company's answer was not a recall and not a reformulation, but a statement of confidence in its products. And the stock barely flinched, because to Wall Street an investigation is just another expense line, and teenagers were never going to stop buying Pink. That is the darkest chapter in the whole story, and it is worth sitting with. A brand built on making people feel better about themselves now stands accused of endangering the youngest people who reach for it. So where does the story stand? In 2023, Celsius revenue more than doubled, crossing $1.3 billion. In 2024, it climbed again to $1.36 billion, with retail sales up more than 22% and the brand holding an 11.8% slice of the entire energy drink market, valued at around $9 billion. It sponsors major sports properties, sits inside the fridges of millions of households, and owns a share price that has absorbed class actions, SEC orders, and TikTok panics alike. The founder's dream came true in the cruelest way possible. Steve Haley did not create a new category of drink. He created a category of belief, and belief, unlike chemistry, does not expire. Go back to the rule Haley discovered in that warehouse. Whoever owns the category wins. He never owned a drink category. He owns something far more valuable, the category of effort-free self-improvement, the place where hope meets a purchase. Every imitation that followed, from knockoff thermogenic sodas to the endless aisle of fat-burning supplements, is proof that his category exists. And every one of us has stood in that aisle, holding a can that promised to fix what diets could not. Real secret of Celsius was never thermogenesis. It was permission. Every can is a tiny license to feel healthy while the world screams that you are not doing enough. No sugar, no guilt, no need to change a single habit. Just a cold fizz that performs the morality for you. The label promised fat burning. What it actually delivered was identity. That is the deeper scandal hiding inside the headline. Not that millions were fooled by chemistry, but that millions were happy to be fooled by a story because the story felt better than the truth. In my view, Celsius never copied the energy drink playbook at all. It reinvented the oldest trick in commerce, selling not a product, but the person you become while holding it. That trick is not illegal. It is not even unusual. It is how modern food, modern fitness, and most of modern life gets sold to us every single day. The can is the smallest part of the transaction. The feeling is the product, and the feeling is why people forgive the lawsuits, ignore the warnings, and reach for the same label tomorrow. Think about the ritual. Chill the can, snap it open, drink the warmth. The physical act is tiny, but the psychological transaction is enormous, because every swallow is an affirmation that you are on the right path. It is the same machinery that sells diet teas, detox juices, and miracle creams. A physical product carrying an emotional promise. Celsius just happened to wrap that machinery in the most believable costume of all, a science story with a university logo on it. Remember Nick Arante, wires across his chest? After the video exploded, he captioned it with 5 words that say everything about this era. Still might drink it though. He knew. The company knew. The viewers knew. And the cans kept selling, because knowing has never once stopped a craving. That is the cold lesson of Celsius. Products die when they stop meeting a need, but stories die only when we stop needing them. So here is the final twist. Every regulator, every lawsuit, every anxious comment on TikTok, none of it broke the brand. The only thing that could break it is you, reading the label with fresh eyes. And the scariest part of this story is not what Celsius did. It is that the next Celsius is being built right now, somewhere between a laboratory and a marketing meeting, and you will not hear its first warning until you have already swallowed its first promise. You can call this whole saga cynical, In my view, that would miss the point. Nobody sat in a dark room plotting to deceive the world. The company simply found a story that people wanted to believe and told it with total conviction. The tragedy is not the deception. The tragedy is that a modest, genuinely not terrible drink had to pretend to be a miracle to earn a place in your fridge, because a product that just tastes fine has never once made anyone feel good about themselves. Subscribe and tell me in the comments which twist surprised you most: the fake science, the real lawsuits, or the comeback that survived them all.